Wayne County is the largest county in the state of Michigan with the largest number of children in the foster care system. We have approximately 3,000 children in Wayne County alone who are residing in out-of-home placements. The Wayne County CASA program recruits, screens, trains, and supervises community members to become volunteer advocates for children who have been removed from their homes because of either physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, or abandonment. Our CASA volunteers advocate for their best interests throughout the entire court process, ensuring that they reside in safe and permanent homes as quickly as possible, and that they don't fall through the cracks of the system. And our volunteers just take one case, unlike the other professionals involved in the child welfare system.
It has been an honor and a privilege to work with the CASA volunteers. They come from all walks of life. You get to learn things from them as they learn from you.
Well, I think the CASA volunteers bring a broad experience from life into our cases. A lot of times the lawyers, our focus is a little bit narrow, and I think we can rely on the CASA volunteers to look at the big picture.
They're not a professional worker. They're not a jurist. They're not an attorney. And so their perspective is unique. It provides a neutrality that I believe a lot of people entrust them with information, communication, things of that nature.
For the past 12 years, I've had the pleasure of working with Wayne County CASAs. I have never been disappointed in any case that I have had them assigned on. They do their research on the case. They speak to all of the parties involved with the case. They speak to the families and they meet them on their level and speak to them in their language.
CASA allows me the opportunity to make sure that kids have someone on their side who are solely advocating on their behalf.
One of the most important parts of our program would be the relationships. The relationships are really the glue that help us move the child from a place of challenge to a place where they can actually thrive.
My name is Rex Sharkey, and I have been a CASA volunteer for about 1 year.
So Rex came into one of our training courses, and Rex was very ambitious, full of energy, ready to learn, full of resources, and Rex just stood out. Our third class, I already knew what case I was going to put Rex on. The case was appointed to us by a referee to help 7 children with grief counseling. This young child had trauma in his life with experiencing his death of his mom. 5 of the children were adopted out, and he was not adopted out. During our hearings, a lot of the parties would say that this child was just a defiant child, that he needed to be institutionalized. Rex came in with different tools to be able to usher the child out of his room and be able to talk and be comfortable with him. I have one experience with Rex that is just dear to my heart is when he said, "Yeah, Shonithia, I got in able to talk to the child." And I say, "Really? That's good." He would say, "Yeah. It was through the door." And I was like, "Well, did you really talk to the child?" He was like, "Yeah, we had a long conversation through the door." So their Rex showed that we're going to meet this child on his level.
Ty is someone that my heart really reaches out to. He's had a rough go at things. His mother was killed. There's some physical abuse, and there's a lot of, well, really a lack thereof of trust for almost everybody. He became a shut-in, stayed in his room, wouldn't talk to anybody. He received a very late diagnosis for being on the autism spectrum. So that process was very slow. And what I had to think about as the CASA was, how do we make very realistic expectations for the child? You know, I would talk about, okay, I'm gonna see you this time next week, or I'm gonna see you on this day next week. And I would honor that commitment. I realized real quick I gotta be careful about my verbiage, because I was like, "Hey, Ty, I heard you like tacos. Let me go get you some tacos." He's like, "How many are you gonna get me?" And I was like, "Dude, I'll get you however many you want." He's like, 20. I was like, oh, 20 tacos? All right, like just totally talked myself in that trap, but I followed through. And honoring a lot of those commitments after several weeks, that's where I could really get face to face with him. But the problem with that was he still hadn't completely trusted me yet. So we had to micro shape that process to get him to open up. And so it started off with him being under his bedsheet, or where he can see me, but I can't see him. And I talked him into it that way. Like, hey man, you can see me, but I just want to put my face to my name. And then from there, we went incognito mode, where he would put his sunglasses on. And so he could still kind of see me, but I couldn't really see his face. You know, he still felt safe and concealed. And at that time, we were rolling around in the summer, because this took many weeks in the process. And we went to the park and we played football. And so now he's slowly starting to open up. We were able to align several community programs through the CASA program, getting him to the Pistons game and so on and so forth. And now he's back in school. And now he shows himself to me and he's comfortable. And so we've been able to do a lot more with that, because leading up to this point, him being a shut-in and him not trusting anybody was really what was getting in the way of Ty's progress. Being there for him and really reflecting on my past and the certain vulnerabilities I've had, and having people tuck me under their wing has been really cool to kind of step in that role for someone else. It's really allowed me to serve with purpose. And so it drives me, gets me out of bed every single day. And so I'm so incredibly grateful for that opportunity, and that, you know, the CASA program supports me and trusts me to fill that role for this individual's life.